Louie C. the Mayor checking in. What is going on, my people? Listen, rain or shine, the show must go on. I'm hoping everybody's having a good day. First thing I need y'all to do, please, is hit the notifications. Right here is a notification going to come on the Facebook. Make sure you hit that so you're notified when we're on the podcast live. And also, those of y'all watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button right here. We're going to make some things happen. Shout out to FloridaKeysInjury.com. Anybody who had an accident in a scooter, a bicycle, or a car, make sure you check them local boys out. FloridaKeysInjury.com. These are the best lawyers locally in town for accidents. Also, Dr. Burrows coming in Friday. Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon, and Key Largo. It's a great new plan out there. Health Plan 89 for $89. You can take care of yourself with health care, and it's the best plan we ever had in the history of living in the Florida Keys. So right now, one of my colleagues, he taught me the game on how to get down. He's been at it for a long time. Mr. Mike Donovan representing Rick's. This man originated, started, kicked off spring break in the Florida Keys. Big Duke, that man alias is Duke. What is going on, Mr. Donovan? Look right there and let them know what's happening. How you feeling?
How you doing there, Louie? I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling ecstatic that the announcement came down today that we're going to get to go back to work on Friday, and that's very important to me.
Best news all day. So, Duke, for people that have no idea who you are, give them a little brief history about your time down here in the Keys.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of people do know, but just to let them know.
You know, we worldwide here, so you got to let them know, because some people here don't never seen you before.
I understand that. I'm the DJ at Rick's for the last 32 years with a little interruption.
Hold on, did you say 32?
32 years.
Wow, in the game.
32 years.
You've been out longer than Pitbull living. Wow.
32 years.
Wow. All right.
All right, so that means I started in 1988.
Wow. That's incredible.
So it's been 32 years that I've been at Rick's. I started out as the entertainment manager, and a couple years later I progressed slowly into DJing, and a little time as a manager for a little while, but mostly as a DJ. That's what I'm really comfortable at. That's really my niche.
Right.
And I help out every time that
so
I can.
I'm going to say this for y'all. We keep it blood raw around here on the podcast. This ain't recorded. This ain't scripted. You see this man right here is one of my favorite dudes in the whole wide world. And this man is basically Mark Rossi's number one man. I'm told every time I see Mark Rossi, I say, you're lucky to have a man like that. Because in order to win championships, you have to have the right team and team players. And Duke, you've been there actually from day one.
Oh, well, not from day one of the bar, but from day one of a lot of things that I've been involved with. And like you said, spring break,
yep.
Lobster Fest, the Super Bowl parties, all the stuff that happens at Rick's.
So those y'all that was thinking about coming down to the Keys this weekend, you don't have to think no more. Come on down, because you was challenged a little bit because the bars weren't open. But Ron DeSantis done fixed that 100%.
All right.
And he said it's about that time to go ahead and make some things happen. So he got the bars open. Thank God for that. I think he's been doing a wonderful job out there in the whole state of Florida. So I'm very happy that that decision was made. And Duke, we haven't worked since St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Right. It's been a while.
March 17th. It's been a long while, and I never thought it would go this long. But I managed. We've had our ups and downs, but I managed. But it's time to get back to work because there's a lot of people hurting, me included, and we need to get back to work and get some income. Yeah,
no, there's no question whatsoever. And Duke, let's get right into the meats and potatoes. Come on in the live right now. I mean, it is very, very exciting today. We're still in the movie, but we slowly getting out the movie with this tragedy that's been happening, with the COVID. But I think everything's going in the right direction. Me and Duke was talking off camera. Beautiful march the other day that we had, spectacular. Key West showed the nation how things should be done. So, Duke, I heard a while back, way back in the day, you got arrested and released on spring break because your antics were so wild they had to take you into custody and then let you go. So can you tell people what happened? And keep it raw, though. Don't sugarcoat it.
It actually wasn't spring break. It was a military appreciation night.
Okay. What happened then?
Which was on a Wednesday, which was called Wet and Wild Wednesday.
Right.
And we used to do that for the military, and we had drink specials, and we would have a wet T-shirt contest. During the beginning of the first Gulf War,
right,
with Bush 1,
yeah,
we knew from the military when they were going to invade.
Gotcha.
So we did they were burning our flag, so we decided to burn their flag, and we burned an effigy of Saddam Hussein.
Hold on, time out. You burned some, where at, on the balcony?
Off the balcony.
Hold on, time out.
Yeah.
You burned some off the balcony, bricks in the 200 block?
We made an
off
effigy
the balcony.
Off the balcony and a flag.
Okay, so what happened?
And it didn't burn that good. It only lasted a minute or two, and that was it. It was in the front page of the paper. People took pictures and everything like that. Well, at the end of the war, we did another military appreciation, and to show that everything went well, we did the same thing. We burned Saddam Hussein effigy. But this time, This is part two.
Wow.
This time I put gasoline on the paper, and the whole thing went up into a fireball, and all the fire engines came down and thought that Rick's was on fire.
Well, I got to stop you here. So let me get this right. You decided that you was going to burn Saddam Hussein.
Yeah. And we built a dummy.
Hold on. And then you put them on fire
the
balcony.
Off the balcony on a big pole.
Let me give it to you, and then you can tell me, all right? So then you put them on the balcony, and then you hung them, I believe, from the balcony, and you set them on fire. You almost
off a big pole. He was out there in the middle of the street. The pole went out about 12 feet.
So like
he was out there, and then we put it out over, and all the people were up above screaming.
Wow. Okay. So then what happened?
Then the police came.
The police came. What'd they do?
Took me downstairs, said they were going to arrest me, and called the fire marshal, and got him out of bed.
Tell them the whole story. We're in the statute of limitations.
They got him out of bed. And
hold on. So they had to wake up the fire chief, who, Dickie Warlow?
I can't remember who it was at the time.
Probably
fire marshal.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't. No, this was the fire marshal, not
the fire chief.
Fire chief.
So then he was hot when he got there.
He worked for the city.
He was hot.
He wasn't as hot as the policeman.
You remember
the officer? No, I don't remember that. This happened in 1989 or whenever 1990.
So the only thing,
whenever the first Gulf War.
Hold on. The only thing that saved you was the bubble system. It looks like.
Yeah, the fire marshal told me when we were downstairs that he was going to walk me down, and he talked to me as we walked down the corner while the police officer stood outside, and he told me that what I did was okay, but I didn't get a permit, and that was wrong. That I wasn't getting arrested. Well, there was still the contest going on upstairs, so all the people were waiting for me to come back on stage.
Gotcha.
They took me in the middle of the whole. We were showing military appreciation. We had drink specials. There was a contest going on.
So what my man Duke did, he tied up all resources because we ain't had that many resources back then. So he had every unit respond on the 200 block.
There was 2 or 3 fire engines there.
So basically, that's all the units that we had. He tied them up right there at the bar. So if anything else happened in the city, there was nobody to go out there. That's incredible. But luckily, you didn't get arrested, and you proceeded.
Well, he told me when we get down to the end of the road that when we turned around, he was going to chew me out all the way back to the police officer. And he told me that I was okay to go upstairs, and he would come and talk to Mark Rossi in the morning. Right. And they got it all cleared up.
Okay. So that's a hell of a story.
All I said was I did it before and didn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
But he said this time caused a bigger fire.
We learned by our mistakes. But at that point, it seemed like that's what we needed to do or whatever. So, this
was a long time ago.
So I'm going to tell y'all the story because Duke just reminded me of something real quick before we get into the next thing. So we used to do these foam parties, right? So they said, we're going to do some promotion. I said, yeah. They said, what we need to do? I said, spray foam on the whole Duval Street. They said, what? I said, yeah, take the foam machine and spray it over the Epic balcony and just fill the whole street with foam. Unfortunately, the police station was behind the Epic in the 600 block. And when the police chief came around the corner, they hit him straight over his shoulder with a whole bunch of foam. Boy, that man looked up there. He snatched somebody from a horse that was right there. What the hell going on over here? And I'm seeing it. I may believe I ain't seen nothing. I may believe I just got over there and did the same style. I said, I'm gonna curse these people out, but that was incredible. So, we're a little wiser now. We know not to do that. But in the moment, we thought that was the best thing going or whatever. And, somebody had some balls to do these things. Duke, let me ask you a question. Before I go there, go to Where's the Party Key West, because the party is back this Friday. All hands aboard, coming through. Bars are open, and we welcome tourists. And I need y'all to be nice to tourists, because I know we have some anti-tourism stuff going on. I please ask you to be nice to tourists. Like the man said, we haven't worked since March 17th. Our livelihood depends on this or whatever. We have to be nice to people. And which brings me to the next thing. Not a lot of niceness going on in the world. I'm so glad I was able to be part of the peaceful demonstration the other day for George Floyd. What's your opinion on this stuff going on nationwide? It's crazy, ain't it?
It is crazy, and being in the entertainment industry and playing music, playing hip hop, been playing hip hop for a long time. Was one of the first persons in Key West to ever start playing hip hop at Rick's. And I've endured a lot of criticism over the years for things that I've played and things that I've done, which is all perfectly good all over the country. And but people have their opinions. Of course, they've stressed them to me quite a few times over the years, because going back all the way till the beginning of the first spring breaks that we did back in 1988, 89, 90 was when hip hop started taking off, and we were the first ones to start playing hip hop. Wow. And through spring break, and I know you know that. Right. Sometimes people criticized it, and sometimes it was associated with fights and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, people are people, and we all got to get along together, and we all got to live together in this world. And I believe that should be strived and tried to be attained.
I think that is a great point. I want to give a shout out to Pamela. Pamela, I know you was going to ask me about the masks. My man Duke's got his mask over here.
Sister season.
The problem is that these masks, talking through this, doing podcasts is very difficult. People can't hear you. But I got my mask. Not only do I have my mask, I got the Conk Mentality mask. So I know you was coming with that. So come on in the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube right now, and hit notifications. So you listen to what the man said? Okay, so we're on the Louie C. the Mayor podcast, so we're going to keep it blood raw. So to me, this is my opinion on what should happen. When you go to a movie, you watch a movie, you don't go out, watch the movie, and do exactly what they're doing on screen. You know what I'm saying? This is entertainment. It's not meant to be taken, 100% what you see in the movie. So when you go to an entertainment complex or entertainment or a club anywhere, if you have idiots, they're idiots. They're not idiots because they like hip-hop music, or idiots because they like country, or idiots because they like jazz. They're just idiots, or whatever that might cause a problem. So to me, our philosophy with our DJs and our entertainment is that we will play whatever we want to play, that entertain the crowd, and we're not going to be intimidated by music, because music is meant for people to have fun, unite, and vibe or whatever. So I applaud Duke for saying that, because I think that's very important, because let's face it, Duke, hip hop, some people still have not accepted it.
Oh, I have the same now we can't just say about hip hop, because I have the same reaction to Latin music.
Really?
And Latin music, the same thing. And when I first started playing Latin, people would come up to me and say, "Hey, we're a military town here, and the military wouldn't like you playing Latin music," which I could never understand what they meant. Right. But I get the same reaction whether it's Latin music or hip hop, and even in techno music, the same thing sometimes. So dubstep, whatever it has to be, there are people that are critics of everything. And
can't make everybody happy.
And because they can come up and talk to you, they're going to stress their opinion.
Yep.
And because I'm there and I'm out in the front having to do what I do, right, I get the response. Okay. And so I'm just telling you what has happened as far as how people are. That's just the way they are. And
I'm going to tell y'all straight up, and some of y'all probably ain't going to like this, but I'm going to keep it blood raw today on the show. This man, give him the amount of time you've DJed now.
I've been there since 1988, and I've probably been DJing 32 years, and I've probably been DJing full-time 30 years.
Y'all don't take this the wrong way, bro. Don't take it the wrong way. This man has been at it 32 years. He's still doing it like he started. Number one, he's on top of what's new music. He finds out, does his research or whatever. Some of y'all are very young. You've been DJing 4 years or whatever. You want to just go through motions. This is the reality. It's hard to be DJ Khaled. And this guy is an originator. So you might say something about me. You might say that I'm old and all that. I do it like if I started on my first day. I do this for free if I had to. I grew up on the hip hop culture. So any of y'all that have an issue with this man, you got an issue with me. I need y'all to put respect on this man's name, because your inspiration should be that you could DJ for 32 years, because you can say what you want to. Fact is fact, fiction is fiction, and you're still going against the grind. Like when you mentioned dubstep, you take a chance and play dubstep. You don't
have to do what the people want. Yeah. And I do try, if I see something, if it's out there on the charts, if it's being played, I have to take care of that song. It has to be shown, played, and if it's possible, and people are going to react. Right. If people are reacting, if I'm getting a response from a song, no matter where it goes into my philosophy, I have to play for the people. That's why you're there.
Exactly. And another thing I'll say, and we got on this topic of DJing today, is some of y'all that don't take requests, you need to retire. Do me a favor, get your paperwork and retire. These are customers. These people come in the establishment to basically be entertainment or whatever. You have to have good attitude from the beginning, as Duke knows, from the front door all the way to the security, all the way to the maintenance man, all the way up to ownership. Now, having said that, obviously, if we're playing, a set of dance music and you want to play something that's jazz in the middle stuff, we probably can't accommodate that. But you need to do everything you can to appease customers.
I try and do everything that I can in the context of of the music format that I play of my format.
Right.
And my format goes in categories of songs. So if I start into a hip hop, there I got to go with 3 or 4 or 5 different songs, and then I'll go into Latin, and I'll go into pop. And try and get people out to, you just can't play one. We're not a radio station. You got to generate momentum. You got to mix it up. And when you're trying to get a momentum going, you have to get people to respond. So if they respond to one song, you got to play it out just like fishing, just like bait. You're throwing bait out there to get a response. When the bait don't work no more, or they're not getting a response, you go on to something else so that you can see if you can get a response.
And the main thing I want y'all to learn, y'all learn today, please learn today, is that you hear what the man said. The man is playing a variety of music. So if you only play one type of music that you're not going to go too far. You have to mix some music, especially now they're mixing country with hip hop.
It's all together. You can play almost every kind of music if you got the crowd that's in there.
Right.
And
in your bar, you have a great mix.
And also I got an out because I don't have to play rock and roll, because of course we got the Dirty Harrys right, and the Dirtbags back there. Right. I play a lot of other kind of music that helps me not have to worry about that up there and try and mix all kinds of music at one time.
Right. No.
Which is difficult.
And this is spectacular, and I'm so glad you came on the show, because I will tell you something. A lot of problems that we have is that people are coming up in the business. If you have this man that you could go under his wing, you'll learn a lot of stuff. Now, you could learn it on your own. It's a blessing when you have somebody out here that been through the trenches. Like, for example, when I first met Duke, I wasn't even really supposed to be in a bar or whatever. I was
part of
with the Key West High School baseball team, right? And this man used to have what I call sets or whatever, and he would pay like 3-4 sets.
Still
and these
have
were
my sets.
But you remember you would do a specific set, and the people would really, really dig it. I mean, that was a long time ago.
And it got just like the Cupid Shuffle or whatever back then. Everybody wanted it, so I had to play it at a certain time so that people knew when they came in that we were going to do that. Things became so much that you had to accommodate the people, and sets. We used to have the sex set, we used to have the hip hop sets, Latin sets, whatever.
Another thing is, some people might have a dislike of people that are successful, and the bigger you are and the bigger things you do, you build up some animosity. But I'm gonna say facts is facts. You can say whatever you want about Mark Rossi. That man is a pioneer. He had the vision to buy a building, because you know what rents are, and he basically tried something that nobody was doing, and he took a lot of chances, and this is how he made it. So be happy for that man, and you do what you can to try to get to that level or whatnot. But don't hate. Hating ain't doing nothing. Look what kind of hate we got going on in the world. So, Duke, my next point is, unfortunately, there's a movement in the Keys that do not want spring break, does not want cruise ship, and those who want to have Fantasy Fest and they want to switch into a relaxed town. I'm 100% against that. I'll do everything I can in my power to fight that. I'm not on that page. I'm not going to be on that page today, tomorrow, or if I'm 100 years old, if I can make it. Therefore, I ain't going to be on the page then. What's your opinion?
Well, my opinion is, Louie, that this is Key West, and Key West was built on the fact that they want all the people to come down and enjoy this island. No matter who you are, no matter what your income is, if you can afford to come down here, no matter what you are, retired, tourist, a visitor, spring break, a younger kid that's on spring break, if he's old enough to come down and drink, people that are on cruise ships, those people that come down here on spring break, those people graduate, they become business people, they become rich doctors, they become other things. Those people that are on cruise ships only get to spend 3 hours on this island if they like this island. The same that I do when I go to the Bahamas or I go to the Caribbean. I find an island that I like, or I find a place that I've been on a cruise ship. I got to spend a little time there, and if I like it, I come back. I liked it so much in Cozumel that I bought a condo there in the 80s. So,
and you never would have seen it unless
I went on a cruise ship.
Right. So what the man is saying, this is 1 + 1 = 2. That some people come on a cruise ship, don't know anything about Key West, fall in love with it, and some of them end up buying homes here, or at least coming back for a vacation. Now, like I tell everybody on the show, this is very simple, and this goes directly, and I'm going to say this to my people, because a lot of my people, Key West conks, that don't want anything to do with cruise ships. So I'm down with the conks. I played conk baseball, and I'm conked in or whatever. So, we have a thing called agree to disagree. I'm disagreeing 1,000,000%. And I don't have a problem also if you don't want to have any cruise ships at all. If you don't want to have any cruise ship, that's fine. Tell me exactly what are you going to give me in return to replace that revenue in them people. If you have nothing to give me in return, we have nothing to talk about. We're going to vote or die in 2020. I'm going to let y'all know right now, anybody who goes in the direction anti-tourism and party, count me in to count you out, to do everything I can to vote you out of office. That's on the record. You only need 4 people. Look what happened to Miami Beach. Miami Beach was wonderful. They killed the whole party vibe. Really, don't want people down there. Where's the new place down there? Wynwood. It's accepting people. Whatever. This could happen in Key West. People don't understand how.
Wynwood, I start going down on 8th Street to the Ball and Chain and the Latin clubs down there. There's all kinds of places to go in Miami. If you don't want it in one place, they're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
I can tell you now that not as much Islamorada, but Key Largo up there, they're doing a lot of things up there to catch the people before they get down here. And if we start turning these people away before they get to Key West, they're going to stay up there and they're going to find the places that they can go, and they're not going to be treated like that.
And let me tell you something.
It's still the Keys.
Like I tell y'all, some of y'all want to talk big, some of y'all want to eat. You don't want to do big, and you don't want to hunt at the same time. So see, this guy right here, he been at it. He basically doing this, basically keep his boss happy or whatever. He could have been retired. He retired, but he really working or whatever. He's been retired, but he's still out there. And this is good because he still can make it happen. But he has a pulse of the street. So what this man said is exactly what I know, because I'm on the streets like him. And you have a gentleman named Mr. 305. He got 2 homes out there by the Key Largo area. He got DJ Last. Them boys are in the Keys a lot, and them boys are starting to make movements down there, and they on a big level. So that's exactly what it is, because people come down there. If the party's so big and Key Largo, whatever, it's beautiful out there too. They might not make it. I'm telling you what,
there's going to be resorts that are going to open up after the hurricane. They're building some now. There's going to be other ones, and there's going to be places that change according to the times to get the business.
No doubt.
And if we turn the business away, it's going to go somewhere else.
Listen. The reform now for 2020 is, I was talking with my production team, Miss Tangela Edwards, and the thing is that what was going on in the world, you need to know your rights, and you need to use your head instead of your fists or whatever, and know your rights, number 1. And number 2, this stuff about talking, not voting, is just not getting it. Do you see what's going on in the country? We're in shambles across the board. All bad news in 2020. Bad, right? So the only way you change this and it starts locally, is to register to vote. If you ain't voted ever in the time that you live in, this would be the time. I've been challenged by the supervisory elections to get 85% of the vote. Best believe I tell you, I'm gonna get 85% of the vote, and we're gonna make some things happen, because like we talked about, it only takes 4 votes to go one way. If they want to shut the bars down at 2 o'clock, which they tried before, all they need to do is call a roll, and what happens? They shut the bars at 2 o'clock. We won't allow that. Now, Duke, you know there's people that tried that. What happened? We had to vote them out of there. This is the reality.
It hurts. What hurts business? I got to say that when the cruise ships come here, or just like they say about Fantasy Fest, if you don't want to be involved in that, or when the cruise ships are here, they're not here but for a small time. They don't do overnight anymore. They don't do any of that, and they don't get out into Newtown. Absolutely. They stay down in Old Town. They only have so much time here, and if you don't want to be exposed to that, you don't have. There's no reason to come down to
if you don't. What do you say? If you don't like the movie, don't buy a ticket.
Right. They're not invading everybody's space. They stay on Duval Street. They stay in the tourist area. Whatever is considered that tourist area.
Let me give a couple of shout outs here, dude. But go ahead, finish your thought.
Is where they are, and that's the businesses that they're helping survive. If you notice on Duval Street, a lot of places are closed down. Everybody needs the income.
March 17th, we finally get a check on Friday to start off. We make out that ain't gonna be. We, like Duke said, we're gonna be hurting a long time because we got a lot of catch up to do. Not everybody got employment that worked there, but a lot of people did. More people didn't get it than they did. Shout out to JC. Look, we got JC checking in. You know, that man's big on the Latin tip. This man paid his dues. We got Jamie checking in. Notifications, hit them all right now. YouTube, subscribe. So bottom line is that, you know, they can't, they won't, they ain't never going to stop the party. And Key West, people come down here because we're flexible. And like Duke said, the cruise ship is daytime. It's hard in the daytime because there's not a lot of daytime business you could substitute that with. And if you don't like it, don't come downtown. And
locals don't go down on Duval Street that much in the daytime.
Period.
Yeah, and if their cruise ships aren't there, Duval Street's like a ghost town.
And me or Duke will walk with you on Wednesday when we usually don't have any cruise ships, and you could throw the bowling ball down the Duval Street, and you won't see anybody. So the bottom line is that, and I'll say this, blood raw again. Some of y'all don't want to be in traffic. You complain about driving from Stock Island to downtown. This is a blessing to be able to do that. This is like a fantasy land or whatever. And you want it to be like the 1940s. This is not the 1940s. This is 2020, and it's a whole new day. We can't have that. Don't be selfish because people need to eat or whatever. There's some people, let's be honest, that didn't miss a check, got overtime, got a stimulus check, and their financial stuff didn't change. It actually improved.
But there's a lot of people that have left. There's a lot of people that can't pay the rent. There's a lot of people that are hurting. There are a lot of people out there in the food lines. A lot of people, and do we just turn our back on all those people that are here? They're what makes you like going to the bars, you like going to the restaurants, you like all the stuff that goes on. But there's a fabric behind that. There's the people that have to run that place. There's the people that have to clean those dishes. There's people that have to wash those. All those people have to be here in this city, and they have to be able to survive, and they have to make all these places work. You can't survive without them.
Look who just popped up. Dee Enriquez. She's running out there in Stock Island. Good luck with everything, Dee. You know, all the way in, red and gray all day. So keep doing your thing, girl. Glad everybody over there at the tax collector's office is healthy. But Duke, I also want to touch on, a lot of people don't know anything about you on the charity work. We forgot about that you do with your Christmas and stuff.
Yeah, I represented Key West for 9/11, and we did the Expression of Hope. We had 2 panels. One went to D.C., one went to New York. But after that, I started Angels Just for Kids and worked with Just for Kids, and now I work with the Boys and Girls Club. But Angels Just for Kids is going on 18 years now. And last year, we sent 1,000 toys to the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian, along with Key West Cares, and took care of all those kids over there. We also take care of the kids here. Boys and Girls Club worked in Bahama Village a lot with Just for Kids out there. Probably in the 18 years, given away over 35,000 toys to kids.
Yeah, well, I was with Duke, and basically every kid that came got a toy. I've been over there in the trenches in Bahama Village.
We've done it everywhere.
Yeah, Stock Island.
We actually take care of between 700 and 800 kids a year, and Angels Just for Kids is really me and a bunch of my friends that get together, and we do a little bar, go around, and they collect the toys. But it involves all of the community comes together, and mostly my money comes from the boat racers that support me and support Rick's and support my charity, which is to just get toys to kids. And no matter if you can fill out the paperwork or not, we're going to make sure your kid gets a toy.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's the difference between some organizations give out toys. You have to fill out paperwork in order to go get it. We just want to get it straight to the people.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
To conclude out here, Duke, been wonderful having you on the program. I know back in the day, when things were completely crazy, I heard that some of your contests and stuff got a little bit wild, and you had some intervention from the ABT. So that must be
ATF. Actually, it's just that spring break. I started spring break in 1988, 89, and 98 really started going. But I had the experience from Daytona. I started my first spring break, did my first spring break out of high school in 1975 in Daytona.
Really? Wow.
I worked for Hawaiian Tropic in Daytona as a Hawaiian Tropic sailor for the whole year in 1979.
Wow.
So I saw the bike week, I saw all the races, I saw spring break, and I saw all the ways that people tried to bring the people in. And spring break was about contests. We had the beer chug, the vest chest, and the wet t-shirt contest, in the beginning.
Nice.
And now we have no contest anymore, but that's how spring break was.
Except for the sexy bull ride. You still had it on
you still have that.
Cowboy Bills.
Cowboy Bills. But spring break is a good thing for the people to come back here to this city after they've seen, and most of them are graduating that year.
Let me tell you this, and I'm so glad, because we were not discussing anything of this off camera. So this is what I have an issue with. If we're going to be one human family in Key West, and we have to be exactly what the word says, one human family, like the man said, we have to with open arms accept anybody that comes in, whether it be billionaires, Bill Gates people come in, we accept you. Spring breakers come in, a little bit people on the wild side on Fantasy Fest. People come down here to basically let their hair down or whatever. We're not aggressive with tours. We're not going to start now. And we have to take care of people. And in general, for the whole nation, we have to be nice to people. Well, I have a problem, and I hope some of y'all, anybody from Miami Beach, please come in. When you have things that they do in Miami Beach, for example, they come in for spring break, and the city commissioner passes an ordinance to shut a certain part of the beach just for that time of March, because there's so many things. This is a disaster, whatever. So I don't know what happened. We can't let that happen here or whatever, because that's all it takes. Call a roll. They enact that, and they're only doing that because basically it's spring breakers and kids that are going to be, kind of wild. They don't do that when Jazz Festival come in. Jazz Festival, they don't shut the beach out. So this is unacceptable. I've been out there, Memorial Day weekend. They don't like hip hop on the beach. They make it impossible. So those are you people that are going places. This is your money. You worked hard for it. Don't go to a place where you're not wanted.
Well, that's why I've always said Key West is a laid-back place, but we've always had open arms for everybody to come down and enjoy themselves. And once we start to break away from that, and we start to choose and pick, then they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And remember, people get older, people get richer, people make more money, people go through life, and opinions are generated over social media. And it spreads like wildfire. So exactly. If we start to have a hard stance, it's going to spread over social media. It's going to affect
bad reputation. Nobody want to come to the Keys.
The whole Key West.
They're already paying premium dollars to come down here for a hotel, the cheapest room.
Look, I'm telling you what, most of my crowd that used to come upstairs to Rick's, most of that younger crowd that couldn't come down here and spend money, even though they were just married or whatever, they're just pushed out by the cash.
Yeah, hotel prices. Yeah,
hotel prices. So they're getting weeded out some ways, but we can't start to try and weed them out verbally.
Right. We have to be nice to people in general.
If they can come, they can be here.
One human family. I said, Louie C. the mayor. Come on. Matter of fact, y'all gonna come in. We got bars open on Friday. Be here Thursday, so you'll be ready for Friday. Damn what everybody talk about. We gonna keep the party going. We gonna be respectful. If somebody get out of line, like the foolishness that said, if people come down here between us over here. I wish they would have come out here with some foolishness. We're going to show them how we take care of foolishness like the Dukes of Hazzard. We have the sheriff and the chief escort you out the county line and mark you. See, what you don't know is that in any other city, they don't have this. When you come into Keys, every car that comes into Keys, they can find you or whatever, because there's one way in and one way out. I'll be damned if you start something. We'll take you out of here, and that's how we do it. So basically, you could go and do foolishness everywhere that you want to. If you come down here, you guaranteed to have a problem 1,000,000%. Those of y'all that just want to have fun, come on down. David Hudson, thank you for checking in. Another thing about the mask, I'll say this real quick. Got the mask here. Duke's got his mask. We're on a podcast. We can't talk through it or whatever, but it's not for lack of respect. Thank you for checking in on the podcast. So, Duke, any closing words? I know you got a big Friday. I think you're going to be really crowded out there, Rick's.
I want everybody to come out. Like I said, we play all kinds of music. We try and accommodate everybody.
The whole complex will be open?
The whole complex, from what I heard. I'm just telling you from what I heard. But at least we're open. It's the beginning. Please come out. Please support everybody. Please come out. Whatever you can do.
Yeah.
And
take care, bartender. They ain't work for
what we need is positive response over social media and everything.
Yes.
In the news, I'm sure eyes are on everybody now. And how we perform and how we do things is going to reflect all of the future for Key West.
And to echo this, and I'm going to say this to everybody in our industry, like I said, we're going to generate votes here through Send Key West, and we want everybody to register to vote. But I want y'all to step up your customer service at all bars. Let's be nice to the people, because we already put extra restriction at us as is mandated or whatever, so the people are already antsy. So we don't need to we don't want to basically go in there. You know, there already is kind of a hassle. You got to deal with a couple different things or whatever. So be extra. Try to go extra. Let's get on the extra friendly. I'm talking about every bar on Duval Street. Be nice to the people. Welcome. Hey, nice to see you back or whatever. I mean, you know, everybody's been hurting. So let's just work together, because this is what the country needs. Thank y'all for tuning in to the podcast. Louie C. the Mayor. Tomorrow we got spring training in the building, talking about complying with everything you need to do at a bar. Miss Spring Rice, one of my all-time favorites, going to be on the program. FloridaKeysIndy.com, moped, bicycle, car. If you have an accident, them boys at 302 Southern Street going to take care of you. And my number one doctor, they say Dr. Fauci number one. Not in my book. I go with Dr. B, Dr. Burroughs, Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon, and Key Largo. Tangela, we got a long production today. Thank you for your time. God bless y'all. Duke, I love you.
All right,
I'll give you a little
good
hug.
to see you,
You know, we're not supposed to be hugging. I'm going to hug. Make sure y'all be good and have a great evening.